Well, unlike Maddie, I know exactly where I am. My 9th graduation at Staples High School. Good afternoon, members of the Board of Education, Dr. Landon, parents, guests, and most important, members of the class of 2013. As is the case each year at this time, I began racking my brain to think of something to say at graduation. What could I possibly share that might have some meaning to senior high school students about to end one chapter of their lives to begin another? Should it be something soothing to meet the needs of those who are secretly terrified of leaving high school, leaving home, and being somewhat on their own in a new, more adult environment? Should I attempt to appeal to the needs of those who are eager to go on with their post-high school lives and just want to get out of this hot field house? Should I attempt to say something profound that will have a lasting, life-changing effect on their lives? To aid me in this process, I scoured the internet looking for inspiration and found something interesting I'd seen before but completely forgot about. I came upon a video of the high school graduation speech given last year by David McCullough, a teacher at the Wellesley High School in Massachusetts. This is the video that went viral because he dared to say that the graduates were not special. I remember hearing it and, like many who viewed it, thinking that he had a lot of guts to say what he did and that it needed to be said. I too have often thought about the same thing, that we seem to tell our children they are special. Throughout their childhood, we tell them that they are better, faster, smarter, and more talented than everyone else. We proceed to follow up on that statement by trying to protect them from every possible harm, failure, or disappointment. Right on, I said at the end of that speech. Well, in the process of racking my brain for inspiration, I also began viewing my 4 years with the members of this class. I began flipping through your yearbook page by page, from your individual photos to the candid shots of you doing what makes you smile. I began listening to conversations I have had with some of you over the years that are stored on my internal hard drive in my head. The NSA has no access to this. What struck me is that I do think you are special. And I'm going to have the courage of Mr. McCullough to say it today loudly and clearly. By no choice of your own, your parents chose to live in Westport. I bet that most of them did so either in part or in total because of the reputation of the school system. They just wanted to give you the best education possible without having to send you to private school. Years later, you walked into Staples High School, ready to start your high school career. You began making choices immediately about what clubs to join, what sports to play, whether to join players or try out for the jazz band. You made an appointment to see your counselor to find out how you could get into culinary or pottery, both of which were closed. By mid-year, you started thinking about the level of classes you were in and whether or not they were appropriate for you. Some of you may have said something like, "How many advanced placement or honors classes should I take? How do I balance my extracurricular activities with my academic load? How can I remain sane in the midst of this post-high school madness? Am I good enough, smart enough, talented enough to get into," and you name the school? When will all this pressure stop? In the end, however, most of you found a balance, learned to cope with the stress, understood that there is a way to carve out time for fun, and set reasonable expectations for life after high school. Over 4 years, most of you found your niche and discovered that you like something and may want to pursue it after high school. I have heard some of you tell me that you're definitely a math science person or a humanities person. I heard some of you tell me that you never imagined that you would like cooking so much that you now want to go to culinary school. I have vivid memories of some of you who took a course like television or radio production just to fulfill a graduation requirement, and then discovered that you really enjoyed it, are good at it, and want to pursue it after high school, either in college or on the job. We have tried our best to hear you, support you, and acknowledge your passion. I will never forget, for example, taking a photo of one of you for a news story about your bow and arrow invention. I will never forget the feeling that came over me as the curtain rose in the Hudson Theater in New York City on June 3rd to reveal our Staples cast of A Chorus Line as you began your performance in front of Hollywood and Broadway greats. I looked at each of your faces and saw happiness and pride in your accomplishments. I will always remember the look on your faces and the collective sound of our chorus and orchestra playing and singing the magnificent Schubert Mass in G. Throughout the years, I had the privilege of seeing many of you win hard-fought games in every sport. I, along with a contingent of teachers and administrators from Hwa Chong Institute in Singapore, were treated to a gourmet meal prepared and served by some of you in advanced culinary. I just recently watched a video made by two of you interning with Mr. Honeycutt and Mr. Zito, which in about 6 minutes completely described to outsiders what the Westport Education 2025 initiative is all about. It's now on our website. I attended the graduation of our little preschool kids and watched many of you as you said goodbye to those graduates. I have seen you in many of your classes interacting with each other and your teachers at a level rarely seen in public schools. You've been saturated with our 5-year-old critical thinking initiative, which provided you opportunities to think deeply about concepts in a way that will be lasting and transferable to other areas of studies and life in general. How much better to understand the causes of war than to simply memorize the names and dates of battles. Some of you have competed in the Staples Challenge, and others have had similar experiences in a smaller way within your classes. Our 2-year-old initiative to provide you many opportunities to be confronted with real-world, ill-defined problems, to search for relevant data, and to work with others to develop a solution, and then to present your findings to others, has provided you with educational opportunities often only experienced in elite private schools. I can say today, standing before you, that you are special, in that you're leaving Staples with a level of education that is different and better than that of most high schools in America by virtue of the fact that you live here, attended the schools in Westport, and took advantage of all that Staples High School has to offer. The way you have learned, the universal concepts you now understand, the reading, writing, math, research, and language skills you have acquired will serve you well with whatever you do beyond these walls. Your involvement in making your community and other people's lives better through your community service work, through clubs, religious institutions, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Cool to Be Kind, TAG, Builders Beyond Borders, Key Club, Interact Club, and sports teams is now ingrained in you and will be with you wherever you find yourselves living as adults. There are 463 of you here today, and there are almost 1,900 students at Staples. There is no way that this school could operate as it does if not for the fact that you take your job as student learners seriously. For the most part, you have bought into Mark Elliott's mantra, live and let live, which means that students can come to Staples with a single purpose and not be distracted by or worry about being harassed or bullied for being different. You work with us to make Staples a safe and supportive environment. So I look at you today and ask you to accept that you are special in that you have all of the tools required to make a significant change in American society in whichever way you choose to do so. Whether you go to college, to work, or to the military, you will bring this experience with you. When you see intolerance, you will know it is wrong, and I hope do something to stop it. When confronted with something difficult to learn, you will tackle the new learning with confidence. When you see a problem affecting you and others in a negative way, you will be able to assemble a team and come up with a solution. You will feel equally comfortable at an athletic event as you feel at a Broadway show. You will know forever that it really is both cool to be smart and cool to be kind. Staples is now a part of you, and I hope that you will pass this Staple experience on to others. I have thoroughly enjoyed working with you for 4 years, and I'm truly sorry to see you leave. I know some of you question my use of the word love when I look at you and say I love you, but it is the only word I know that makes any sense to me when I attempt to understand why I feel such a sense of loss at graduation. After all, you are not my sons and daughters, and I am only your high school principal. What I want you to know, however, is that you have helped to make Staples a better place than it was when you walked into the building 4 years ago. Thank you for that. Enjoy the rest of your lives.